Hello everyone, thank you for joining us in this webinar about cybersecurity and cybersecurity European certification. I am Francesco Iani, Product Manager for SECO, and here with me I have Marco Sogli, Head of Software Development.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Before starting, can you give us a brief introduction about cybersecurity in industrial embedded and edge system, please?
Sure, Francesco. So, cybersecurity in the last decade in embedded devices was most related to protecting the IT infrastructure and very basic best practice. Only very few companies were having a structured approach to the cybersecurity management and to the life cycle of the product and to keep the product secure as deployed on the field. Today, due to the acceleration of the cybersecurity regulation, especially in Europe, the cybersecurity is a topic and need to be considered just to play. The challenge is not trivial because embedded devices usually operate in unprotected environment, and the connectivity is today a must. So we need today to take into consideration how to assure the security over the product life cycle in each and every stage. So I'm thinking about the design, the provisioning, the update, and at the end also the decommissioning.
Okay, and why has cybersecurity become such a central point for the industrial embedded sector?
So, as explained, industrial and embedded devices are always more connected. Okay, the connection and the connectivity is required because we need to get data from the field, we need to remote manage the device to reduce complexity and operative cost during the life cycle of the device. We need to consider that an embedded device today could be the single point of failure for a production line or for a critical infrastructure. So the recent enforcement, like the RID Delegated Act, so the 18031, but also the upcoming CRA, require a structured approach in order to better manage the cybersecurity for all the industrial devices.
Perfect. Can you explain in practical terms what the Cyber Resilient Act and the RED directive mean for the edge device manufacturers?
Yeah. So I will start with the RID because this is a requirement for the Europe now. So for those devices that have a radio connectivity with the extended delegated act, so the 18031, it requires that connected devices guarantee network protection, safeguard user data that could be stored on the device, and to have best practice in order to keep the system secure over the whole life cycle. The CRA requires manufacturers to integrate cybersecurity requirement throughout not just the product life cycle, but also in terms of internal processes. So the way we manage the software, we handle the vulnerabilities, how we manage the software update, and also requires to have a clear documentation on how you satisfy this kind of requirement. So it's not just a product requirement, but also this has an impact on the development process.
And how does hardware and software design change for industrial embedded product in order to comply to the CRA and the RED?
So starting from the hardware, today the integration of secure element or TPM for the secure case storage, as well as best practice in terms of boot protection, like secure boot, hardware root of trust, are mandatory feature when, along with the hardware, we need to select the proper component that are part of the bill of material of new hardware design. So today we need to design having in mind the cybersecurity.
Moving to the more technical aspects of this webinar, what are the main security threats we see today in the edge to cloud environment?
So for sure, in the edge to cloud environment, protecting the information is a key. And so unauthorized access to the device and into the cloud is a critical aspect, but also the physical tampering of the device, especially where sensitive information are stored in the device or for critical infrastructure. Another important aspect is the possibility to be resilient to the denial of service, is super important. And at the same time, also the possibility to limit the man in the middle attack by protecting the communication channel from the device to the IoT platform and vice versa.
Okay, and I know that this could be enforced even with hardware-based security. What does it mean and how it can be implemented in the industrial sector?
So, starting from the hardware, TPM and secure element are the key, but with the software, we need to assure that we are taking out the most of the security feature of the hardware that we have on board. So, having an hardware root of trust for the secure boot up to the application level is today super important.
Okay, and how does this security provisioning work and why is it a critical aspect for device protection?
This is a key phase because this must be performed in a protected environment. And this is a critical aspect because this phase guarantee the device identity through all the life cycle of the product, and the device identity is how the device is recognized by the platform.
Okay. What measure can be taken to ensure the integrity of the software supply chain?
So here all start with the software bill of material. So today all of our customers are no longer talking about hardware bill of material, but there is also an important shift on the software component that are part of the recipe that the customer are working with. It means that starting with the software bill of material, you can have a full overview on the components that you have, the dependencies that they have, the license that they have, but most importantly, also if each and every component is affected by a specific vulnerability.
Okay, so this is the part that precedes the deploy, but what tools or practices do you recommend for implementing effective operational defenses, monitoring, etc.?
So all start with the analysis of the risk. So for sure, a centralized tool to manage the vulnerability lifecycle is mandatory. We need to have, in terms of software product, a very robust and standardized OTA mechanism. And inside the development team, we need to have regular cybersecurity assessment and penetration test. It is also important to have the possibility to roll back after the update the device to a known state in case we have a failure of the update, because it's important to keep in every stage the device secure and under control.
So moving on the edge to cloud architecture, how can end-to-end security can be ensured from the edge device to the cloud in industrial architectures?
So I will take an example. So our CLIA framework. So in our CLIA framework, we guarantee mutual authentication between the device and the platform, as well secure an encrypted channel for the communication. So a property identity and access management with regular assessment of the vulnerabilities are super important today.
And what are the best practices for securing devices that are located in physically unprotected industrial environments?
Yeah, so for unprotected physical industrial environment, I advise for a tamper detection mechanism. For sure, we need to implement a secure boot mechanism starting from the hardware root of trust, but also an important best practice is to disable all ports that are not used, but also all the physical interfaces that are exposed from the device that are not meant to be used must be disabled. Another important aspect against the data theft is also to encrypt the storage. So consider that all of those aspects are managed by our CLIA framework that offer an end-to-end solution from the edge OS up to the IoT platform.
So you mentioned Seco products and Seco software. Can you tell us how Seco supports its customer in achieving compliance with the CRA guidelines and the R&D certification for the edge products?
Yeah, sure. So starting with ERID and with the Delegated Act extension, the 18031, we went through a full assessment through a notification body. We get a pass. So,
Okay, that's
so
good.
this means for our customer that relying on Seco product in terms of hardware and software, we can reduce the time to market, but also the risk for those customers that are required to move forward to the RID certification that today consider all the cybersecurity requirements listed in the harmonized norm 18031. On top of that, we are also ongoing for another important certification. Is a globally recognized norm relevant for the industrial and the automation market, is the 62443. Under the 62443, we are getting the certification for the development process at maturity level 3, but we are also assessing the gap analysis for our software product, our embedded operating system ClearOS, for the 62443 4-2 at security level 2. We are quite confident that we can have a pass also here because there is a mapping between the 18031 and the 62443 4-2. And we believe that by certifying under those two norms, so RED and 18081 and 62443, we have very strong foundation for the upcoming cyber resiliency regulation in Europe. The message here is that working with CLIA framework, we assure our customers to be compliant with current cyber regulation, but also we want to be compliant with all the future cyber regulation that will appear on different market and geography.
And talking about all these certification and compliances that we challenged for everyone that want to embark this journey but themselves, what challenges have you encountered when implementing these measures?
So the first challenge was explaining to the customer what is happening. So customers today have devices already on the field. Not all of them are planning to design something new from scratch, but moving forward, this has an impact in terms of process, risk analysis, possibility to keep the system secure, and making secure something that at the beginning was designed without security in mind. So this was the main challenge talking with customer.
Okay, and I see that surely complying with everything that will be very, very challenging. So are there common mistakes you often see repeated in the sector when it comes to embedded security?
There are common mistakes, yes, that we see. We are lucky because with our CLIA framework, we can help to manage this kind of mistake. Usually, the mistake that I see is mistake in terms of mindset. So there are some customers that are taking into consideration cybersecurity, postponing the topic.
Mhm.
So postponing the topic is not a savvy approach because for a future-proof design, we need to start to consider security as an aspect of the product that we are developing. It's a standard feature.
And looking to the future, how do you see security in industrial embedded system evolving in the next 3 to 5 years?
So security will be a standard requirement. So it will be a standard requirement needed just to play. So without that, you cannot move forward. Building a secure device with security in mind for sure will cost less compared to now, where we need to create security on something that was designed without security in mind. But in terms of process, I expect also that all of our customers and all of the companies that are selling in this market will be able to assess the risk and do the right decision. So today, I see that the risk analysis that came from considering or not considering cybersecurity is something that is not so always considered, but I expect that in 3-5 years to now, this will be the standard practice that every company must comply with.
And in conclusion, what key messages would you like to leave to those developing or integrating embedded edge to cloud system today?
So no matter the geography, the market, the current regulation that are active today, we need to consider security as a foundation for all the new design. And I'm talking about hardware design and software design that are part of our journey in this market. So I expect that in every new product requirement, cybersecurity will be there as a quality requirement, in pair with stability, with reliability. I believe that with CLIA framework, we can offer a very simple multi-platform end-to-end solution to help our customer to comply and navigate in this cybersecurity requirement. So, but not only with the current cybersecurity regulation, but also to navigate also through the new cyber regulation that I expect will arrive and will be enforced also on other market and geography, not just in Europe.
Okay. Thank you, Marco. Thank you for sharing your expertise. I think we can move to the Q&A session.
Thank you, Francesco. It has been a pleasure.